I don't know what it is, but it's just so hot right now. Okay, it's so hot right now, and that's San Diego State. What is up, everybody? It is Jake with Master Football back at it again. Happy Monday. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on all things college football, pro football, NFL draft, Madden, EA college football, anything related to American football, hit that red subscribe button. You will not be disappointed. Also, hit the like button too. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, guys, there is one university out there that's, I don't know what it is, but it's just so hot right now, okay? It's so hot right now, and that's San Diego State. All you basketball fans, and again, this happened for you. This says today for me. It's going to happen yesterday for you guys tomorrow. But Creighton loses to San Diego State. And again, there was some worry about a foul late in this and some free throws. But again, it's just the refs call it that way. San Diego State is on to the Final Four. It is absolutely huge for that university. And first of all, San Diego State, but we have to remember here, the Mountain West was so bad in the tournament. I think we seriously hadn't won a game for several years. Boise State didn't help by losing in the first round, but whatever, we're not going to talk about that. But San Diego State is on to the Final Four. The Final Four teams in the country. San Diego State is there in basketball. And don't forget about the football team, because they are also in the news recently, because I'm telling you, it sounds like they're going to be the next one up. Over here on ESPN.com, this article came out on the 13th of March. What does the future of realignment look like in college football? If you look for San Diego State there, they are in this thing about 7 times here, because it says right here, as you all know, many people here are fans of me because of realignment. San Diego State and SMU, getting San Diego and Dallas for the Pac-12, looks like they're going to be added in there. San Diego State is in the Final Four teams basketball. It looks like they're going to be in the Pac-12 for football and basketball, every other sport. They are on fire right now, absolutely. I also wanted to talk about this because just last week on the 23rd, San Diego State had their spring game. Okay, so it's crazy out there. Now, here, the only issue with the spring game, you see a couple pictures here about how it's going. I wasn't able to find a recording of it or anything like that, but I was able to see a couple pieces of information about it, basically stating the fact that the passing game was improving too. So again, this is behind a paywall, so I didn't do it. Listen, I like you guys, but until I start to get monetized in this stuff, okay, I'm not going to pay for it. Okay, but if we get to that point, Aztecs show promising signs in passing attack during annual spring game. San Diego State's quarterbacks stretched the field, spread the ball around to tight ends as well as DBs, with a conclusion to offseason workouts, and they're talking about how that goes. So they played in Snapdragon Stadium, and their new stadium, by the way, the brand new stadium that's capable of expanding, which we can talk about that later, because, again, that is another aspect behind why they're so popular in conference realignment right now, because new stadium, market in Southern California, actually doing pretty good. Again, San Diego State's a pretty successful football program, and now a successful basketball program. They're just successful in all things, so I think that it's kind of making a lot of sense for them to be the it guy right now. And I can say this and I know this is Boise State. You see my stuff here, Boise State. But as much as it pains me to compliment San Diego State here, they do have a lot of things going for them. As a matter of fact, not only did the basketball team, which is in the Final Four right now, their last loss to Boise State at Boise State, there was also a very, very key loss for them this last season in football. That was losing to Boise State at Boise State. I'll tell you why here in a second, because the story is amazing. So this was the game last year. Both teams heading into this 2-2, and we weren't really sure what we're seeing out there. But you come out here and see the fact that Boise State gets down 13-0 and then rips off 35 unanswered in the second half, behind 300 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns, 2 by George Halani, 2 by Taylor Green, and 1 by Ashton Jeanty. You come over here and you see this situation, and again, I was there. It was tough to watch. Braxton Burmeister, 2 for 8 for 33 yards and a pick. Liu Emave, 0 for 7, and Kyle Crum was 0 for 1. The quarterbacks finished 2 for 16 for 33 yards and a pick. No yards in the second half through the air. It was one of the worst displays, and I think that San Diego State fans would tell you, it was one of the worst displays of passing that you've ever seen, because it wasn't like this was like a triple option team. They just couldn't throw the ball very well. And that led to this. And again, this happened. So September was pretty rough for San Diego State. Again, 2-3. They ultimately did turn it around. This happened first. So Boise State the week before played at UTEP, and they lost that game 27-10. They fired their offensive coordinator, and their quarterback entered the transfer portal. Taylor Green, a young guy, steps in, a new offensive coordinator steps in, and they turn it around and they rip off a bunch of wins, do really, really well down the stretch. Their first game was against San Diego State. Well, San Diego State was having their own issues, and they basically did the same thing too. They lost at Boise State, had a terrible time throwing the ball. They fired their offensive coordinator and fired Jeff Hecklinski and promoted Jeff Horton. Horton, who actually was a pretty good. He preceded Hecklinski, and he ran the offense from 2015 to 2019, and he had back-to-back 2,000-yard rushes in Donald Pumphrey and Rashad Penny. So he gets it in the game, and he was in a weird conundrum. Here's the weird situation. I'll take you through it. So like I said, the connections between Boise State and San Diego State are very, very similar. So Boise State, they had, Hank Bachmeier. He was the quarterback. He's not very big. He was very, very accurate, very smart, but he was having some issues. The offensive line was having some issues. So they were just like, gosh, what do we do? Let's put the big athletic quarterback in there. And they did that, and he was running around doing a bunch of stuff. I can only imagine, and here's where it gets crazy. I can only imagine that San Diego State did the same thing, but in their own way, because this is probably what happened here. Coach, we got to do something at quarterback right now. We are just absolutely a mess. You're absolutely right. Hey, what if we get a big, tall, strong, athletic guy at quarterback and he runs around and makes a lot of plays? Well, that would be great, but Coach, we don't have anybody like that on offense. You're right. We don't have anybody like that on offense. We have somebody like that on defense. I am 100% not kidding when I say this. Jalen Maiden started the season at safety. Come down here and literally check it out. He had 9 tackles in 2022. And then he threw a pass. He went to Mississippi State, played there with safety, was a little bit of quarterback, came to San Diego State. He was at safety, and then they were just like, dude, we need to figure something out. Okay, Boise State just had a bunch of rushing yards with a quarterback. Let's just put our really athletic dude at quarterback. And it actually worked out for the better. 2,000 yards, 12 touchdowns. 10 picks isn't great, but at the same time, compared to where they were, miles and miles and miles ahead. You look at what happened to San Diego State's 2022 quarterback room, and it was just all over the place. So Braxton Burmeister was the original starter. He had 263 yards on the season. He started 5 games on the season. So that's 50 yards a game. Okay, Kyle Crum broke his collarbone. Will Haskell transferred in September. Liu Amave, he redshirted. Jordan Bird's a running back, and Jalen Maiden was on defense. Okay, that was the quarterback room for 2022 for these guys. Okay, you think about that. Again, I keep on touting Boise State's horn. You lose at Boise State, San Diego State turns it around. Okay, they're in the Final Four, and these guys turned around their season. As a matter of fact, if you go back and check the record, they were an onside kick away against Fresno State. Again, if they would have gotten that onside kick, they probably would have won that game. They would have went to the Mountain West Championship game in Boise. However, they lost. Fresno State went 7-1 in conference. They went 5-3. If they flipped that, it would have been 6-2, 6-2, and they would have gone to the championship. So it was, man, they had an absolutely crazy, crazy season. But again, those 2 big scenarios there, USC and UCLA declaring they're going to the Big Ten, and Boise State beating them at Boise State. Those are the basically, if USC and UCLA are leaving for the Big Ten, and whenever they play Boise State, that's what turns around San Diego State. They've absolutely done everything they can. They're in realignment. They're they're doing well in football. I tell you that they're very interesting. We're talking about the Pac-12 because the Pac-12 is very, very strong at quarterback at San Diego State. It really hasn't been since Ryan Lindley. I do think they get to a big conference. They have a potential to take off because San Diego State, they don't ever get those young quarterbacks or those really good quarterbacks up the road in LA to stay with them. They're always really good in defense. They kind of zigged when everybody else zagged. They're a very good defensive team. Run the 3-3-5 a lot. They've done a lot of really good things there. They're also really good at special teams, but they definitely lack offensive explosion. They need that going forward. And again, hey, maybe you got to switch a guy over from defense. You don't really know. Like I said, right now they are the hottest thing that's going. Okay, Final Four. Okay, last team lost was Boise State. Okay, Boise State lost on the blue, and they turned around their football season. They were an onside kick away from winning the Mountain West Division, and now they're probably going to be going to the Pac-12. San Diego State is absolutely winning. It is what it is, and I hope for them too because they're running out of teams that the other conferences can invite. So hopefully somebody invites this one. I'm probably going to be the Big 12. I'm hoping for it, but we'll see about that. Anyways, what do you guys think about San Diego State, man? Because I'm telling you right now, nobody was talking about them 20 years ago. Now they are on everybody's mind in college basketball and college football and realignment, this and that. They are all over the place. San Diego State, things are looking up for you boys. All right, guys, get in the comments right now. What do you guys think about this turnaround for them? Again, not just to say they were bad, but man, I mean, they have gone from like 0 to they are all over the place in everything at all times. San Diego State. You guys get in the comments right now. Tell me what you think. Guys, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I appreciate it. That's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys later. I am out.